What are the limitations, if there are any, let's start with facial massage, because I see all over Instagram and TikTok these crazy before and afters where, I mean, it literally looks like somebody got brow lift, facelift, ponytail lift.
And I know what you mean.
We're not naming any names. It's a little bit hard to believe, I think, for the consumer. So I'm curious, like, can you really rearrange the tissue, the bone structure, everything of your face with facial massage?
So it's like few aspects to this. If you notice, all of the, or majority of the, like this very drastic before and after images that we see, they are on very young people, 20s, maybe early 30s. And that has to do with the number of things. Actually, just the other day, 2 days ago, I was at the facial acupuncturist. That's what, it's like the first time actually I've done it in like 2 years, where I was just like, oh, okay, let me go. And she was like, oh, yes, I just had a girl who was like 24, 26, whatever. And after the session of just one facial acupuncture, like her face just like in front of my eyes, it just transformed. Versus like, a person who comes in who is like 60, you will not see the results. You might barely see something. The reason for that is when we're so young, right, in our 20s, everything is so vital. We are still blossoming into how we actually gonna look. We're still blossoming into that like swan, if you want to say. And everything we do, our tissues respond so much better, so quick. Like you can do the tiny little thing and you will literally get great results. Versus the person who is, in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s, that would take a lot longer. And even if it's longer, you will not see those drastic results, unfortunately. Another thing is that when you're so young, right? And I can also say for myself, for my daughters, for a whole bunch of other people that I watched grow up. When I was in my 20s, or my daughters when they were in the 20s, and so many people, we still have that baby fat, that beautiful baby fat on our face that eventually, even if you don't do anything, even if you don't do any of the techniques, that baby fat will eventually melt off by itself. If you add more of the facial techniques, right, you will just speed up that process. And you will literally, you see you can even see by some of the Hollywood actresses, even like back on the days before we had the surgeries, right? They would have like this plump, rounded faces with maybe some hooded eyes or whatever the term is right now, and not as snatched of the jawline. That's, I guess, what the term is. And then a few years later, you literally see them blossoming into these sculpted faces. That's because all of the baby fat is just gone by itself, and that's the process. So like I said, again, the majority of those drastic before and after photos, they come from a very young people in their 20s, maybe early 30s. This is the time when their facial structures are still changing by themselves. On top of that, they do add the facial techniques, which absolutely work. There's no doubt about it. They speed up that process. And, you can get some of those drastic changes. Mm-hmm. Having said that, you will not see it in somebody who's a 40 or 50 or 60. So,
or 39.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's one of the things. And of course, those are catchy, and that's great. I think it's if you still have to have realistic expectations. So those before and after drastic images are there to capture your attention, maybe start you on a journey discovering, wait a second, what are these facial massages? What are these natural techniques? Well, let me try, maybe let me go and educate myself a little bit about this, but definitely not to be expecting that this will happen to you. And again, it also depends on your ethnicity, your facial structures. All of that would play a role as well.
If you go into it with no expectations, then it becomes a better experience because it's a very self-soothing, self-care kind of thing. And you can only be helping the tissues, even if you're not seeing your brows lift and your hooded eyes disappear and your jaw gets snatched or whatever. Or if you're not seeing those overnight results, it's still, I know for me, I don't even really know what I'm doing. I just follow some videos that I see online, but it's like a nice time where like, I'm not on my phone. I'm not like distracted and I'm just there and I'm doing something and it feels good. And it's like taking care of myself.
Absolutely.
So I think that's like the expectation going into it. And then like, if you start seeing results, then that's the cherry on top.
Exactly. That's the cherry on top. Yes. Mm-hmm. And also, this is exactly the very, very valid point that you bring. This is the time for yourself, right? This is the time to relax, to come down from our hectic life and pay attention to your tissues, right? Even like a slight touch to your tissues, whatever it is on your face or anywhere on your body, when you're touching it, right? This is bringing all the attention. This is our mind and everything, the nervous system is concentrating on that area and giving that area extra benefit, extra love, extra attention. And it's very important. That's one of the things that also how the face taping, and one of the ways how it works too, right? So let's say if you hit your arm, right, and you start rubbing it immediately and the pain kind of goes away. So when you place the tape, it's something on that area of the skin that's altering the pain receptors, and it's already intercepting differently with your brain, and the pain subsides. That's one of the ways how the taping would work. And that's why I have so many people who have TMJ issues. And I have this incredible application for the jaw area, and people are like, oh my God, this, like, I tried a whole bunch of different things, but this is just helping me. And that's one of the things that the tape was developed by a Japanese American doctor who was trying to find the ways to help his clients to help recover the tissues, to improve the lymphatic drainage, to, deal with the pain, not medically that, we would get something orally taking. That's also not great for our health overall, but something of more of a natural method. And when we apply the tape, it can improve the lymphatic drainage. And if we have the fluid buildup, let's say the lymph buildup, especially in this area, on the jaw area, that's like a very sensitive, very compromised area that gets a lot of the fluid buildup for many people. It's just that fluid buildup can put extra pressure on the pain receptors, and you get the pain from the TMJ or just the overall jaw tension. Applying the tape would, for many, many cases, help that.